What's up, everybody? We got one that is under the gun, starting right now. My buddy Johnny, he's in a bind. He's been doing a gigantic epoxy floor, like 3 of them in one job. He's running behind schedule. That happens on these big jobs. So he hollered at me, I'm here to do his shower. But what he didn't tell me, surprise, surprise, Mitch, the shower has to be installed by Friday. That's all tall ask. I'm here for the rescue. Resin rescue starting right now. Watch how I turn pink foam from the hardware store into stunning shower walls. We're going over black nasty tile. It's gonna be a 3-day project. Do you think I can do it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get to work. All right, guys, here is my template. I'm gonna make some modifications on site. So I've got my wood edge going on both these front edges. This dotted line is my tub. I'm not bringing foam all the way down here. I'm just gonna put a full sheet. Why put seam foam to bring it all the way to 108 inches when from the tub to the ceiling it's only 94? So I'm gonna make like a weird shaped piece here and then perfectly template on location, and I'll show you guys how to do that. I'll film that. So I'll be doing a little bit of modification on site, but I'm gonna save myself money and time on seaming foam. I'm doing all sorts of wild stuff. And because I'm taller, I'm going floor to ceiling. I'm at 108 inches on the right, 107 on the left. So I got myself this trim board. This is the board that I'm gonna install on the outside edge. I'm on location, I don't have a router, so I'm making an audible. This piece already is rounded. It's square on this side. It is 5 1/4 inches wide, 1/2 inch thick. Perfect board to attach to my foam, put the mesh on, cover it with our speed cure. That's gonna be protected by epoxy, and it's gonna support the shower rod. She has a shower rod that compresses against the walls to hold the curtain up. So you don't wanna put that on your foam. You put that on something solid like a piece of wood, the same thickness as our foam material that we're gonna make the shower wall. So come along with me, guys. Stick around, let's see if we could do it. Here we go. Got my template. Let's start with our right panel. 36 inch wide, 94 1/4. Full sheet of foam. There's gonna be minimal cutting here. So let's cut 108 on my trim board. If you're ever installing your shower walls over, existing tiles, number one, if the tiles have been installed with like chicken wire and mud set or really thick on the walls, I would recommend removing those tiles. Also, pro tip, remove the plastic or that's gonna be a bad day. You'll pull your epoxy and it'll peel right off. All right, after that pro tip brought to you by Common Sense, we're going to start on those 2 walls because I've got to attach our wood to that. Simple process. We kind of do it the same way we attach an MDF seam. We're going to space it. Only difference, we're not using biscuits or dowels. Okay, this is our right panel. So if you're looking at our shower, this is the panel on the right. So this needs to be just like this, exposed right. This piece of wood sits out of the shower. This is the face of our shower panel. Our bathtub is around here. Our bathtub is gonna come out like this. So on site, I'm gonna cut that, and then it comes over here, steps up and goes back. So I'm going to now attach our wood, and then we're gonna attach our fiber mesh, pour the speed cure that reinforces our shower panel. And then later on tonight, we're gonna be pouring our epoxy to let it cure overnight. We got a marathon on our hands. So I'm gonna get back to listening to some music. Sit back, enjoy the show, guys, and leave any questions in the comments below. Let's go. Guys, I'm not even using a saw. I'm gonna use a sheetrock knife to fabricate these panels. So I've got spacers to allow the epoxy to saturate into the foam seam. It'll soak in the seam and then it will also connect the two together. I'll tape the front and back temporarily and then flip it, tape the whole back, and then lay out my window, cut it out, cut out my window pieces. It's gonna hold my seam together so I can lay out my window. We're gonna have a seamless shower wall panel made out of epoxy and foam. Pretty cool. This is the back. I always put the Pink Panther on the back because I don't want him peekabooing through. Be sure to pull out your wood too. Pull out your wood pieces. That's usually done with a knife like this. Bye. So see, now I'll put my mesh on the other side. Epoxy fills that in, and our Speed Cure and or Quick Coat is designed to glue stuff together like that. All right, guys, we got our back shower wall. What the heck's missing? Window, seam. We're seamed. This is my face. We'll call this the top. We're gonna cut it to size, and then we're gonna cut in the window. Now, I want a square edge because I just glued these two together. I haven't glued them yet, but they're not gonna move at this point. So remember, I made my piece big. Now we're gonna cut it to size. So the only thing we'll need to cut on site will be the top of this panel. Now I'm cutting it out. Let's do it, because then I'm gonna know my measurements. I'm just gonna use a knife. All right, so I'm gonna take my time here, guys. This is an important cut. So I'm just scoring. I'm trying to keep my knife at a 90 so that cuts nice and square and there's no foam flaring out. All right, I'm gonna squeeze clamp either side. Guys, keep in mind, I've done this entire shower by myself. That's epic. You guys can do this. I'm using a sheetrock knife. I mean, you're not gonna screw up using a sheetrock knife if you take your time, man. All right, let's see if this is... There we go. Whoops. Let's finish that cut right here. Yeah. Who needs a jig table saw, baby? All right, now I need to put my wood around the perimeter. The wood's gonna help that epoxy flow real nice. So you just saw me rip that. Now let's cut it to size. All right, guys, now that our perimeter wood is cut, I'm gonna flip this panel over and tape it. Tape the back, hold it in place until the epoxy locks everything into place. Boop. Okay, I'm pushing my foam down, pushing my wood down, and lock it into place with the tape. We're going to do that to all sides. And now when the epoxy soaks in our cut line, it will not escape. It'll fill in there and reinforce our foam. So now I could flip this over and see, my line stayed. That's what's gonna fill up with Speed Cure. This is my little dam now, guys, on my seam. If you don't keep that from escaping, what happens is you'll get a little valley along this little low spot. In most cases, if you're doing a heavy epoxy pour, it's going to fill that, even if it's a little baby valley. But I like to keep the valley from happening. You know, it's one little less thing to go wrong. So I tape it up, epoxy fills it up, and it stays in there. Checking to see for high points here, which that was a little one. Push that down, push that down. Push that down. That looks good. This panel is ready for the fiber mesh. So what I'm going to do is tape it down a little bit. The fiber mesh reinforces the foam for like a slip fall. You know, you slip, your elbow comes out, you smoke your shower wall. It's not going to dent and all that. This has a sticky on one side. So if you don't use all your mesh, which odds are you won't, because there's more mesh in your epoxy shower kit than there is epoxy. So there's enough mesh to do a lot, probably 2 showers. But our epoxy comes just for enough to do 1 5-foot shower. Okay, if you're doing this by yourself, like I do all the time, I've located my panel, right? I've secured it to my foam below. And I'm going to do the same with my mesh. This is an important step to take your time at it. Most epoxy steps can be pretty fast and almost rough construction. But this one, you want to take your time and give yourself as minimal wrinkles as possible. What a wrinkle does is it's an area for the epoxy to get under, and then the mesh will float. So just like tape, once epoxy gets under there, it compromises the sticky. The mesh floats. It can cause a lot of more sanding later. So we want to minimize that. And how I do that is I take my time putting the mesh down. I'm going to iron it on my table here, so then I could pull it nice and gently and then iron it down with my Bondo spreaders. So iron it onto the table below, and now you can pull against that with pressure on my roll. See, I'm pulling tension. I'm going to come with my Bondo spreader, nice and easy. Avoid wrinkles by keeping pressure on this mesh, right? Just like putting like a vinyl sticker on. Work it so you have 0 wrinkles. That wrinkle there, that'll get you. Work it to the outside. I'm going to slide it straight. It really is that important. I mean, okay, what happens if you rush this step? Good question, guys. Thanks for asking. You'll just have to sand a lot. You could still proceed forward. So I've done one of these really dusty area, kind of like this. So honestly, I'm not that hopeful that I'm going to be able to do this without any mesh lifts. I'm worried about them because I know I just got to sand them down. The whole thing isn't going to come up. You may get some, you know, I call them humpback whales. It'd be like a chunk of mesh here, a chunk of mesh here floating. It happens. Looking good. Next step, now that the mesh is down, is the speed cure. The speed cure is our fast set countertop epoxy. It's a thicker material than most, sandable in about 4 hours. And the reason I love it for our showers is it's thicker. So it helps hold down that mesh. The mesh floats. If the sticky doesn't work, the mesh is gonna float. Doesn't matter if it floats, you just got a little bit of sanding tomorrow, or you mix up a little bit more speed cure and coat right over that for much less sanding. We're gonna mix, per usual, the standard 2 minutes, scrape the sides, mix a little bit longer. We're gonna tint our product fully white using white dye. I got 2 at 36 by 98. 36 times 98 divided by 144, that's 24 square feet. That's 48 square feet. Plus we've got a 59 times 91. 91 divided by 144, 37 plus 42. That is 80 square feet. I need 4 ounces per square foot, 317 ounces. All right, guys, speed cure's down. It's 10 p.m. I'll be back tomorrow for the next step, which is cutting the mesh, sanding the tops, any high points. We have pretty minimal here, and then we're doing our colors. My job will be done. That's when Kristen K-Dog takes over. All right, guys, time to sand. Look at all these little fingers here. We're gonna get rid of those. I'm gonna sand down any high points. We'll let that epoxy cure for about an hour to 2 hours before peeling that tape down and letting the epoxy flow over our edges. And then from there, the epoxy is gonna cure in about 18 to 24 hours. Then we're gonna follow that up with a clear coat of epoxy, the same material, just crystal clear. Adding the clear coat adds some durability, a sanding layer if you ever wanna add the ultimate top coat. You can add that next, or you could add that years down the road. All right, guys, we're on location. Let's get a shower installed. I'm gonna come cut our drips off. Simple, with a knife, look at that. I gotta sand those off the wood, but I'm gonna keep some epoxy on that because that's our window trims, right? And I want to make sure that that stays sealed with epoxy. Here's some couple on-site pro tips. Be clean. Don't make a giant mess and your customer asks you to clean it up. Like, be respectful of their house, of the money they're paying you to do a good work, and don't make a mess when you're installing. Leave your area cleaner than when you arrive. That was my rule of thumb usually. So one of the first things we had to deal with, which is why the customer is replacing their shower walls, is the grout was leaking down below, so they stopped using the shower. I'm gonna pop this out. We have our new groutless piece, no grout joints, it ain't gonna leak. So, and it has this lip to flash it, so our piece is going to come down, I'll seal it, the water's not going to come in and come up and over. It was leaking through this grout into the floor below. This is a second story here, so the customer had been dealing with a leaky shower, which is worst case scenario. I'm leaving every other bit of tile, just removing this. It's a pretty cool feature of Stone Coat. All right, so now we're going to take these strips and template our tub now that we have all our pieces in. This is all sitting really good, so I'm going to go tight to my wall here. I'm going to put that on the deck and go tight to the tub. A little thing of hot glue. Push this up, get it tight, tight to the tub, and toilet. Bam. So what I'll do is I'll go into the job with the sticks. Sometimes I'll pre-cut some, but it's easy enough just to come in here and score and snap. And I use my square ends when I really need it to matter, so my cut in went up. Make sure that that is into the wall, nice and tight. Man, that looks so pretty. Okay, now we're gonna measure 91 1/4. So let's write that here. Next measurement I'll do is get this one, because then if I get both those measurements, that'll be nice and plumb flat and fit just beautifully. 94 3/16. 94 3/16. So older plumbing can be tricky, guys. That Allen wrench is so corroded in there it don't want to come out. Try to just take my plate cover off here. Okay, there's my hole. We've got our template here, and I even templated the radius. Now I need to trace this over. So this was 94 3/16 from the lid, the sheetrock at the top, all the way down to the top of the bathtub. Boom. This was 91 1/4. Come down, mark your line. Now that we have our little bench in, we know exactly. That's why I couldn't cut these to fit earlier when I was out here, because I would have to take that all apart and then the customer wouldn't be able to use it. So now I got my line here. I'm flush with the bottom. Got my line right there. And then I come and tape this down so it doesn't move while I trace it. Now I trace and cut. Pretty easy. When you're doing finish work, guys, I recommend a finish pencil, not a big old giant carpenter pencil. It won't give you accurate cuts. Let's go try it one more time. Then I'm doing the other side, cutting the holes and going her in. Holy cow, that's beautiful. Few nice ones up top. These suction cup. I wrote a couple lines to my This is about the only time I ever make a big spigot for silicone. Normally it's pretty small. I'm cutting that silicone tip as small as I can do it and still fit in this rod because there's a foil seal. So I cut it just so that fits in when I'm doing my finish work with silicone, like caulking the backsplash to the countertop. When I'm doing my showers, I do big jumbos. And then when we apply pressure, these spread out to big old pancakes. All right, after that tape has been applied nice and tight, about 1/8 of an inch on either side, we're gonna use 100% silicone and use a color that best matches your shower finish. And then we're gonna tool it in nice and tight. Squish it in that seam, even, uniform, nice and smooth. And what you're left behind with is a professionally installed, nice tight silicone seam. I appreciate you guys bearing with me and making it to the end of the video. Mission complete. And guys, let me know what you think of the POV style tutorials. Did you get enough? Were the camera angles good? Let me know any questions in the comments below. Start your comment out with "Hey Mitch," and I'll be the first one to jump in and answer it personally. Thanks for watching, everybody, and don't forget, from Stone Coat Countertops, you got this, and we'll see you on the next video.
Stone Coat Countertops.